Calaroga Shark Media.
Hey there, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news, a daily briefing on stand-up comedy, comedians, and the comedy industry. A sentence the algorithm loves. Nikki Glaser was at the Time 100 thingamajig. She was the MC. I've got some audio for you, and my question to you is she bombing? Now, to be very, very, very fair, the crowd is not mic'd well at all, and you can do the best comedy. If they don't mic the crowd, it will sound like you're bombing. But even beyond that, and if you listen closely at times, you will hear the audience laugh. I think she's bombing here. I think the cool Hollywood people don't want to accept her, and the cool Hollywood people know that they don't dare laugh at the jokes. Oh no, a Katy Perry joke. We better not laugh at that one. We'll get in trouble. We won't be liked by the other cool Hollywood people. So this is a tough room, and I think she bombed. The original here was quite long. I've clipped it down for both pacing and language. Here's Nikki Glaser.
Hello, everyone. I'm Nikki Glaser, and welcome to the Time 100, the one list you actually want to be on this year. Yes. Congratulations to everyone here tonight. This is such a phenomenal accomplishment for each and every one of your publicists. Truly. Right? Personally, I am just so excited to be in the same room with people my therapist told me to never compare myself to. Donna was right. But I'm your host, Nikki Glaser, and this is such a thrill. I've, of course, hosted the Golden Globes, but this is different because this is time I will never get back, you know? No, I'm kidding. I'm so excited to be on this list. I'm also one of 4 people on the cover, which is a quarter of my dream come true. Yes. Oh my God. I can't wait for all my friends and family to see it 3 years from now in a dentist waiting room. Well, tonight's ceremony is different than most star-studded events because this is an event where the greatest thinkers in the fields of science and technology are asked the big questions like, who are you wearing? And who are you? Because we're just not celebrating actors here tonight, you know, but the scientists, scholars, musicians, writers, and athletes that those actors will play hotter versions of in movies. One of the most impressive people on the list is Victoria Beckham, of course. Oh my God. She was a global pop star, now a serious fashion designer. She's married to David Beckham. She's rich, successful, stunning. What's it going to take to get you to smile? I mean, really, please, smile. You're one of the only British people who should, okay? But there's just so many impressive people in this room tonight. But what really blows my mind is that we have actual astronauts here tonight. It's insane. Yes. These brave people who risked it all to go up into space and search for the unknown. And by astronaut, of course, I'm talking about Gayle King, all right? Gayle, I love you so much, Gayle. Really, though, Gayle, you had the courage to do something that so many people wouldn't have the guts to do. Spend 12 minutes alone with Katy Perry. And we thank you for that.
The other day, Nikki was on Kelly Ripa's show, which is just like the most difficult thing to watch. It's not my thing at all. And apparently, Nikki's skirt was a little too short. Let's listen.
Oh, wait, you can see your underpants.
Oh, that's just for you.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just going to go right down the barrel.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah. I don't mind at all.
Oh, good. I'll send you a picture later.
And then they went on to have more of a conversation, which I just found nauseating. Let's listen.
I did not realize there's this recent development. You have something in common with Pope Leo?
Finally.
Yes.
I mean, we've always both loved hats and can speak Latin, but it's, no, we're both Time 100 most influential people.
Yes.
Congratulations. Yes.
I saw your cover.
The Pope and Mr. Beast. Yeah.
I mean, that's extraordinary.
It's so cool.
It's Nikki Glaser's baby childhood wildest dreams.
Never.
Could you imagine that?
Never. I mean, looking at that photo, I'm always just like, it just feels like one of those, covers that you get made at like a carnival that's like, you can be on Time magazine. It seems like a joke to me.
Nikki, your posing is really good there.
Thank you so much.
Do you naturally pose? Like, do you know how to do that stuff?
It's so deeply uncomfortable
Is Isn't
for
it?
me, Mark. Oh my gosh,
Same.
photo shoots. I think they look like they come so natural, but that is one photo out of like thousands, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just so uncomfortable because everyone knows just like to pose like this, like I can do this, like.
Yeah.
But then like in these, you have to be like.
Right.
You never know. This is not natural. No. You just have to think you're so cool, and like it's just.
I think that's why
so
models are paid a lot of money because of that. They can do
and
that.
And the not eating.
Yeah,
and
that part.
And the maintenance.
Yes.
And all.
Much funnier. Jimmy Kimmel. So last night was the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and for the first time in recent memory, they didn't have a comedian host it. So Kimmel decided to have his own. He called his the All-American White House Correspondents' Dinner. And I have trimmed this down for pacing and also on ABC network television. He told a joke that I found a little too naughty for even this show, so standards differ. In case you're curious, he told a joke about a thing guys like. Anyway, here's Jimmy Kimmel.
Live from the Trump Kimmel Center in Washington, D.C., it's the All-American White House Correspondents' Dinner. Here's your host for the night, Jimmy Kimmel.
Welcome to the 2026 White House Correspondents' Dinner. Look at you all dressed up in formal wear, dresses, tuxedos. I haven't seen this much black since every page of the Trump Epstein files. We're going to have fun tonight. And I'm happy you decided to stay, Mr. President. And don't worry, if we bruise your ego, it'll only make your hands look less disgusting. Now, the president didn't want me to tell any jokes about him tonight. But he also didn't want to pay me $130,000 to shut up. So here we are. Sorry, mushroom. Ice, baby, ice. By the way, in the unfortunate event that our president has a medical emergency tonight, do we have a doctor in the house? Do we have a Jesus in the house? I always confuse them, too. I get why you think you're Jesus. This guy, every time he walks into a room, people say, Christ, he's back. You're looking good, though, Mr. President. Who did your makeup? Kraft Singles? As the president will tell you repeatedly until you beg him to stop, President Trump has accomplished so much during his second term. He passed new incentives for oil and gas. He put the brakes on solar and wind. That will be your legacy, sir. Breaking wind and passing gas.
Deadline's keeping an eye on the Netflix is a Joke Comedy Festival. The festival Los Angeles, May 4th through the 10th. Deadline's written about this before, but they continue to say that the festival will be, according to an insider, a story of the haves and the have-nots. Deadline's update is one validation of Netflix investment in podcasting is the Pete Davidson Show. Deadline says after getting the low ticket warnings with a show featuring John Mulaney, Pete Davidson has booked another at the Wiltern Theater to feature Nikki Glaser. But they say, that aside, I'm not seeing many more sellouts on the schedule than I did when we last checked in. Now, this is really interesting. Deadline writes, strangely, some of the biggest marquee names in comedy are those with the most tickets left to sell. As of now, and this was middle of last week, Shane Gillis, Louis C.K., and John Mulaney are far from selling out their shows at the Hollywood Bowl. Katt Williams has a good way to go at the Intuit Dome, as does Nate Bargatze with his two shows at the venue, and in particular, the May 9th show. More from Deadline. Seinfeld's sales aren't great for a show featuring Leanne Morgan. And Jim Gaffigan hasn't yet approached selling out the Dolby. Wow. Really weird, right? Deadline writes, the numbers are puzzling when you consider all the records comics like Bargatze and Morgan are achieving around the world and as Gillis approaches his huge homecoming show at Lincoln Financial Field. And it's striking to assess them in relation to the ticket sales of younger buzzy comics like Gianmarco Ceresi and Jeff Mercury, who have sold out multiple shows, albeit at much smaller venues. Very, very interesting. At some point during the week, I sat in front of the television and watched Kevin Hart's, what is that called? Comedy competition thing? Funny AF, that's what it's called, right? Yeah, maybe. John, you host the show, you tell us, sorry. As I wrote in the Facebook group, Daily Comedy News Podcast Group, it's a good version of the comedy competition show. I'm a comedy snob. I struggle with these things. Some of my notes, I actually ran my Apple Watch timer. We're seeing 90-second sets. You can almost get by on just pure charisma for 90 seconds. For a lot of these 90-second sets, you're seeing that it's basically one good joke. There was one guy, he had a really great joke about bears, and that kind of stretched out to 90 seconds, and, okay, that doesn't make you George Carlin, doesn't make you bad, but, relax. And a lot of the 90-second sets are edited off. Somebody will get off a good joke and a good laugh, and then it's just cut to the end, and you can tell that the set didn't actually end there. They just kind of wrap it up. One thing that did make me happy is if you listen regularly, you've heard me talk about what I describe as the Emperor of Rome syndrome, which means I have heard so much comedy in my lifetime that my brain is fried, and I do what the comedians do, which is in the back of the room. They're going, oh, that's really good. That's really funny. But don't actually laugh. And you'll see that at times, specifically with Keegan-Michael Key, sitting at the table with Kevin Hart, just saying, oh, really good, really good, really good. So if you want to know what I talk about when I talk about Emperor of Rome syndrome, watch that for a good illustration of it. Anyway, it's a nice enough version of that. Oh, and then I got to the end of episode 1, and they were like, and the final comedian moving on is Cliffhanger. And I'm like, Netflix, I'm not hitting play on a second episode to find out who's going through to the second round. I don't care that much. So I'll probably watch the whole thing, but I'm not obsessed with it. It's fine. It's a good version of what it is. I did like Ramy Youssef's special. It's a little long, but the front half is particularly strong. TV Insider asked Ramy about the special, which was filmed in February and is pretty topical. How close to the shoot were you fine-tuning material? Ramy said, I think there's the bedrock of the set that are things that I know I want to hit. And I think for me, from a performance perspective, it's really important for it to feel like it's happening in a way that when you're filming a special, it's a tough balance because you're playing for a crowd that's right in front of you and you're playing for everyone else in their living room. I do try to honor the people that are in the physical room as much as possible, and that is spontaneity. They shot it the way you do in a stand-up show. When you're doing crowd work, no one in the crowd sees who you're talking to unless you're sitting next to them, so we didn't even try to grab the crowd. It was more, we're going to play it as if you were in the room, and by the nature kind of walking into the set and knowing you're going to do crowd work, and I don't know where it's going to go, we also felt like we were going to commit as much as possible to one of the shows, and that special is really just the majority of one show. Ramy said he likes to talk about pedestrian things, and TV Insider said, you talked about meeting the Pope. That's not a pedestrian thing. Ramy said, my feeling is if you can meet people where they are, they'll go with you wherever you want to go, and the balance is, my life is not that crazily different, except for every once in a while doing something like meeting the Pope, and I think that's just letting people in on that feeling as well. David Cross sat down with Fox News Digital to discuss David's special, The End of the Beginning of the End. David said of his audience, I know this sounds corny, but they're really smart, and they're mostly like-minded people. And they know what they're getting at this point, which he described as a balance between silly and political jokes, including some personal stories, offensive humor, and topical bits. Cross said he doesn't tailor his work for algorithms or soften his material for mass appeal. What Cross actually said was, at this point, I don't give a hoot, man. I'm going to do it. And if you want to come down, show up. If not, whatever. It's fine. I'm doing my thing. The audience is happy. Come down if you want. I don't give an F. I don't want to make it too heavily silly or too heavily political. I like to keep a really nice balance throughout the whole thing. As for putting together a set, he says he considers what flows more than a theme. Cross explains if there's kind of a thread or theme, it's just something that presents itself. I never sit down and go, how can I talk about the inhumanity of man? It's not that kind of thing.
Gossip Corner, whispers in the street. Gossip Corner, probably about Pete. Gossip Corner, where the rumors meet with Johnny Mac. It's always a treat.
No Pete today. Gossip Corner features Dave Chappelle, the manager of the San Francisco Giants, was out and about, and his night ended with a fist bump from Dave Chappelle. Tony Vitello didn't have a game last Monday. He went to a downtown restaurant that had been recommended by a friend. He said, to hell with it, I'll go to the restaurant. See, his concern was the Giants were off to a bad start, and he thought some Giants fans would be sad. Sure enough, there were Giants fans there. They gave him a hard time, and he said, well, what are you guys doing? You having fun? And they said, yeah, we're getting ready to go see Dave Chappelle. Vitello parted ways with the fans and called an Uber and then had a change of heart. He said it was raining. I called an Uber, stared at the Uber, canceled the Uber, apologized to the Uber driver, and asked myself, why am I being so scared? I coach guys, I tell them not to be scared. So he bought a ticket to Dave Chappelle's show at the Punchline. Vitello said Dave was Dave, so I needed to laugh, and it was good to do something in the city. It was a lot of fun, met some cool people, and got some rest to get ready for this deal. That deal was an interview with MLB Network. At the end of the night, he got a fist bump from Dave Chappelle, but I don't know how that part works. Is he sitting in section 309, or did he have VIP tickets? How did he get a fist bump from Dave Chappelle? But he got a fist bump from Dave Chappelle. Meanwhile, we are told Dave Chappelle secured the perfect deal on an art piece. Dave was walking around Soho. Dave was on his way to Sadelle's when he spotted artist LaRon Wilson passing by with one of Wilson's original beeswax sculptures in hand. Chappelle stopped Wilson and commissioned his work on the spot. Wilson said Chappelle was so engaging, I just gave it to him and told him, don't worry about it. And Star Trek ruiner Patton Oswalt has a new gig. He will lend his voice to the audiobook edition of Other Worlds Than Things. That is the upcoming novel by Stephen King. It is the final installment in the Talisman-trilogy. The series kicked off in 1984 with The Talisman, a story about Jack Sawyer, a 12-year-old boy searching for a magical item that could save the life of his ailing mother. And now, the third novel in the trilogy will be voiced by Star Trek ruiner Patton Oswalt. And that is your comedy news for today. I'll see you tomorrow.